Hello everyone, welcome to another Unordinary review. Today I'm going to review the current chapter that came out last Thursday of Unordinary. But before that, I got a few things I got to say. So one, I know I'm like 3 days behind on this video, but again, school is a pain in the butt. Hopefully I'll be done with it soon, but until then, like making videos and doing animation homework is going to be a little rough. But besides that point, I have two other things I want to point out. One, if you haven't known already for some reason, then know this. Line webtoons are coming to C2E2 in Chicago, Illinois, my hometown, this Friday through Sunday, I believe. Yeah. Also, the author of Unordinary, Uru-chan, is coming to Chicago as well, hosting a panel with Line Webtoon. So if you want to go, I will leave a link in the description below, or you can type in C2E2 to get your ticket. I'm definitely going to be going there. I definitely hope to see a lot of things from Line Webtoon. They're one of my favorite comics to read. And then another thing, shout outs to all those who participated in Uru-chan's contest for her celebration for 100,000 subscribers and who won. Like, congratulations to all of you. I hope that your prize is really nice. Y'all deserve it. I was in the contest as well. I didn't win, unfortunately, but I saw a lot of amazing artwork on that whole contest. So congratulations to you all. Yeah, you did a good job. There's no salt. Just hope you enjoy your prize. With that being said, let's get into this review. This episode or chapter, though it may seem like it's not really exciting or interesting, it actually had a lot of information to share, not only about one of our favorite characters, but just about, again, these underlying themes that Uru-chan keeps placing in her work. So this chapter was about John, and it was about how the head of reporters, I believe her name is Cecil, I hope I'm saying it right, and she confronts Ison because she wants to know more about John, since her reporter gave her the scoop that John is the new Shadow King. So this episode was really about her interrogating him to find out more information about John. And from this information, we learned two things. One, we learned a little bit more about John, but unfortunately, with every good webtoon or story, the more we know about a mysterious character, the more information that we still don't know. So while we found out a lot about John, there are still some big questions that we as a community need to ask ourselves. But then another thing that we learned was just this underlying theme about power and hierarchy, and the question of, is really just because someone has a lot of power does it mean that they should be king? But we're going to get into that just a little bit. So in this chapter, two big things happen. The first thing we found out about John, but then another thing too about cops are going to come to Sarah to ask her questions, not only about what did she do over her suspension, but about the book Unordinary, which again, it just brings up more questions for me. What is this book and what has it done? Or a better question that I know everyone is asking, did Unordinary inspire Amber to kill all of these heroes? But only chapters are going to tell whatever Uru-chan is thinking. I know it's going to be great. But again, this episode, Ison explains a lot about John and about what he finds. And what he finds is quite interesting. Some of it we knew, but a lot of it that we didn't. So for example, how there is a year missing in his records from when he was expelled out of school until him coming to Wellston Academy. So whatever happened in between that gap changed him into the person that we know today. Also we learned that he was a cripple at first. His power level wasn't that high, but when he became a high school student, his power shot exponentially up to the point where he's able to take on Arlo and win single-handedly without any trouble, which in my mind hosts two questions, because it's just weird. I would understand if he had the power from birth, but the fact that he shot up exponentially, in my mind, it's two things. It's like, one, I think maybe Amber had something to do with his growth, or maybe there's something else to the story that we're not knowing, because it's really hard for me to believe that someone shoots from normal to harmless to extremely abnormal and dangerous in just a spur of even a couple of years. That's just crazy. I mean, John is a good character for it, but at the same time, it's like it's a little far fetched. So there's something else in the play that it's not being revealed to us yet. But what really made want me to do a video about this chapter was one of, I think, many quotes that Eisen says to Cecil. Okay, see, Cecil, or I hope that's her name, forgive me if I'm saying it wrong again. She wants to overthrow Arlo and demote him to Jack while making John the true king. But Eisen stresses to her that that probably is a bad idea. He stresses that all these people in the school focus so much on hierarchy and power that they forgot one important factor, or a couple of factors. He points out that he was a horrible enough king to where the whole school turns against him, and he would rather have his bones to be broken every single day, which again, even if you can be healed, to get injured at that capacity, that is torture. And it could have explained why he's such on a rampage, because he's getting such a beatdown. But anywho, he would rather go through all of this than to use his power to dominate everybody. And Eisen stresses for the fact is because once he becomes king, he's going to bring their whole school to the ground. He knows that, and Eisen knows that. And that was really strong to me, because again, this theme about hierarchy and power is it okay just because someone has a lot of power doesn't mean that they should have the higher rank, or should they run the school? Because as we all know, John had the power when he was in his, I guess, pre-high school age. That may be a typo, but his pre-high school years, and he was a dominative king who had no respect or no regard for anybody, and he paid the price as the whole school turned against him and he had to get expelled. So is him really being in power, would that really solve everything? Moreover, is that what Amber wants? Because I still think the guy who's reporting this, because we don't see his face and he has invisibility, so that's a perfect spy for a group like Amber to have. Or maybe there's a little bit more to it. I still think that John is with Amber in some form of fashion. If not, Amber helped him get his powers to overthrow those with superpowers. Again, and there's more to his parents too, but again, only chapters are going to tell. But what I really liked about this chapter was the fact that we got to know a little bit more about John, which again is something that we've been wanting to find out since it was hinted that he had powers, and even from like the first beginning of Unordinary when it was starting. But then another thing I liked about this chapter was it did question, this hierarchy struggle. Like, is it okay? Is hierarchy really okay in any case whatsoever? Because it might not be the case for John, and John knows it too. But finally, the chapter ends with Sarah about to be interrogated by, I guess, the FBI. I hope that's right. And they want her to ask questions about the book of Unordinary. Now, again, this book, well, obviously it's the name of the webtoon. So again, we all know that there's a connection to it, but what connection is it? Like, we really don't know. But again, it's just like, this is what makes her webtoon so amazing. It's just this unanswered questions, this suspense that really wants to keep you waiting for the next chapter. She does a really good job about that. So I don't know what the Book of Unordinary does. I think personally, in my opinion, that it inspired the group Amber to act the way that they're acting, but also it may have affected his family, or it may have affected John in a certain way too, but we just don't know yet. All I know is that only chapters are going to reveal more about what's going on in the webtoon, and we just gotta wait and see. But again, if you haven't read the chapter, I encourage you to read it, because it was a really good chapter as far as information. And yeah, that's it with the review. If you want to read Unordinary, as always, I'll leave a link in the description below of the webtoons that I review. If you want to see Uru-chan or line webtoons, I'll leave a link in the description below that as well. But other than that, if you get this far in the video, just comment down below on if you're reading the chapter, what did you like about the chapter? I do like reading comments and whatever I get anyway, and so that would be very, very helpful. With that being said, if you've liked listening to me rant about this, leave a like and a subscribe for more webtoon and other related content that I make. With that being said, thank you for watching, listening, and have a good night.